I did it once and I'd do it again. Gonna get beat. You're gonna taste defeat. Cause I lie, I steal, I cheat. Cause no one can withstand my Latino heat. You step in this ring, you're messing with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's something you don't do. Do I think you could beat my ass? Hell no. Do I think I could beat your ass? Why, hell yeah. I did it once and I'd do it again. Gonna get beat. You're gonna taste defeat. Cause I lie, I steal, I cheat. Cause no one can withstand my Latino heat. You step in this ring, you're messing with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's something you don't do. Do I think you could beat my ass? Hell no. Do I think I could beat your ass? Why, hell yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, brothers. Welcome to the Hogan Tribute Show. Brandon, Terry, how we doing?
Doing great. Welcome to Monday Night Havoc.
Doing great as well. Get over this, whatever I had, but I'm doing good.
Well, I'm glad you're over it or getting over it. This is a show that we've been planning for, ever since we heard the news. I know that people have their opinions on Hogan or whatever, and I'm not allowed to tell you how you feel about Hogan, but you're also not allowed to tell me how you feel about Hogan. And what Hogan meant to me in my childhood is something that's really unmatched by a lot. He was a larger than life presence that came about. And, when you saw him come on the screen as a kid, Terry, you're my age, essentially. So when we were little kids, and we saw him pick up Andre the Giant and slam him, that was it. It was over. The star was. What?
Yeah,
What?
that was definitely an iconic moment, and just one that it's always gonna be embedded in our memories for everyone to see. I can't even spell it.
This is fact, though.
Yeah.
So really cool. So next week, not next week on the show, but the week after, I'll have a really cool tattoo to show everybody. I'm not gonna. I think y'all know about it, but everybody else does not. So Brandon, let's start. What did Hulkamania mean to you?
Do you want to run that video?
Yeah, run it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, if anybody watching, this is just a little tribute video we threw together. Like he said, you can vary on opinions, but the man's impact in the business can't be denied.
He is the greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. And what you gonna do when Hulkamania in the largest arms in the world run wild on you? What you gonna do when the New World Organization runs wild on you? The thing is, man, you and I got a problem, man. Yeah, oh really, you and I got a problem. It's the problem. Blah, 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 blah. Are you actually gonna do something, or are you just gonna stand up there like the bitch that you are? How about I bring the mic up there to you, brother? Well, let me tell you something, brother.
It's a little bit of a tearjerker.
Man, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
So Brandon, tell me what Hulkamania meant to you.
I think
Yes, he did.
when I think of like wrestlers that were like my favorites, he's not one of the first names that just being straight up completely honest. But when I think about like who got me like really like bam, like eyes on the screen, music, everything, he's one of the first names that come up. It's just something about his aura, his presence, how he carried himself, how he could captivate your attention. He was perfect. Like he literally, I feel like if you make a checklist of like everything that the GOAT needs to be from top to bottom, he checks every box. Now, whether you agree with political stances or, the controversial terms that, I don't necessarily agree with, all that aside, when you keep it strictly wrestling and how he impacted an entire generation, and even I feel like a generation after that, I think it's unmatched. And I think that in the weaning days since, there's obviously been an overwhelming thing of negativity, but I feel like in the last couple of days, that's been like silenced because a lot of people are starting to open up and be like, a lot of the things that he did for them, or a lot of things he said, and a lot of things that he helped them out of just from him just being on the screen. So I think just the impact, just the positive impact he had on so many people, from the people he worked with, to the people he interacted with, or just the people that watched him every Monday, Friday, whatever day of the week it was. He just had a tremendous impact, and I just can't deny it. I can't. And I love Hogan. It's easy to get caught in all the hoopla and all the BS, but at the end of the day, he means a lot to me. And I don't think I truly realized that until we started trying to plan this out. And I'm like, man, like that really blows. And it didn't really hit you right away. Right. But I feel like within a day or two, I'm just like, man, like I can't. It's hard to wrap your head around. So at the end of the day, he means a lot to me.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Corey?
Well, he's definitely the reason why I would watch WW, well, now E, but WWF back then.
Yeah.
And most because my uncle, he got me into wrestling. That was like kind of like our bond thing. Like I didn't see him too much, but when he come over, he was always watching wrestling, and he actually met a lot of those guys, and Hogan being one of them. I think he met before when he was in the Rocky movie.
Yeah.
Because my uncle would actually go to the studios. He started out as an 8mm film driver, and then he eventually got upgraded to picking the stars up in the parking lot and taking them to their proper studio for their on the set and everything. But he'd always bring me, Hulk Hogan stuff, and it was, it was still a shock. I mean, it's sitting in now, but it's still like when I first heard the news, it was like, nah, this got to be fake. I'm like looking around, and then I saw, the WWE's official page talking about, okay, I guess it is true, because usually I don't believe all these little tabloid things because they tried it with other, high profile celebrities. And this is like a thing I was talking with Cody and Chris the other day, that wrestling seemed like it was like that just gray line, it's basically same thing. And then Hogan, and this goes back to the Pink Floyd album cover, Hogan was basically the prism. So once the line went through him, he was able to show the many colors that it possessed to the world.
Yep.
And I know they say, no one's bigger than wrestling. Well, you could make a strong argument for him because he basically carried, even though he's not like some people say, not the best in-ring performer. Of course, everyone's limited back then what they could do. There was no high risk, none of that stuff we see what the wrestling has evolved into today. However, just for him to bring a light to the wrestling scene, make it mainstream, and like I said, to be an icon, not just in wrestling, but in pop culture in general. I mean, everybody, everyone loved him. And there's no denying, there's no denying that what he did for the business.
So he was larger than wrestling, and he's the only star ever to be larger than wrestling. I agree. And I know we hear a lot about in-ring performers, but like Hulk Hogan was fun to watch in the ring, so I don't accept that from people that he wasn't a good in-ring performer. Was he a high flyer, or was he putting people in the figure four? No. But when you watch him in the ring, were you entertained? The answer is yes. That makes him a good performer, in my opinion. So, Hulkamania, man, Slam Andre the Giant, and I will tell you one of my favorite Hogan moments, and a lot of people don't do that. But one of my favorite Hogan moments was the turn, when he turned and became Hollywood. One of the most iconic moments in wrestling history.
I agree. That pretty much saved, a lot of people say it saved his career at the time because everyone was getting tired of the gimmick that he had since the beginning of time. So for him, the most unexpected person to turn heel, actually did it. And the reaction the crowd got, and it's just, I was like, yeah, it's another, like you said, iconic moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it really shifted direction, not just for at the time WCW, but for both companies and where they were heading.
It set the tone.
So a lot of people don't understand what happened there, kicked off the Attitude Era. Like that's what changed wrestling, because it went from this superhero versus supervillain cartoony type thing to almost like real life. Right? When Hulk Hogan turned, things got real. Right? And then that's when WWF had to go, this ain't gonna work no more. We gonna have to work harder to do better. So let's see. Oh yeah, for sure. I've watched it probably 30 times since Hulk Hogan's death, and there was trash everywhere. Where's your hat, Terry?
I have to get new ones.
So I mean, larger than life character. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I guarantee you, since 1983, this man's not been able to go anywhere without people rushing him and paparazzi. Because first of all, he's 6'7", 340 pounds of pure muscle. Like, people gonna recognize him instantly. So that's really cool stuff. I think I needed this show for closure, to be honest with you, because this has really been messing with me. I've been listening to Real American and Voodoo Child on repeat for a week. I really have. But on a different note, Brandon, tell them about the rebrand.
So the rebrand was just, I think it just needed a little shaking up. It was on a consistent basis. Wasn't on a consistent basis. Everybody's schedules weren't lining up. But now it kind of seems like things are starting to settle down. And I don't know. It wasn't that the name was bad. It just lacked an attitude. It lacked like a real identity, I feel like. And this kind of throws our name in the hat like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like you're trying to try to make it feel like it's a real deal or whatever. So, I mean, it took it probably took me a month or so with working with other people trying to figure out a name, going back and forth until something finally stuck on the wall. And then it was trying to make a logo and all this other stuff. But I think it would be really good.
Yeah, for sure. So Brandon, give me one of your favorite Monday Nitro memories.
Shit, I like the first freaking episode, dude. The fact that one, it was in freaking Mall of America was badass. But probably my favorite part is the fact that Lex Luger just pops up out of freaking nowhere and nobody freaking knew. There's kayfabe. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Dude pops like, oh my God. Like, that's probably the most iconic Nitro moment to me personally. I got a lot of favorites, but that's one that I could just I don't know. I just really like that moment. It ushered in a new era because WCW was kind of like whatever at that point. Like they had obviously some star power, but that's what pushed them into the spotlight. Nah, bro, we're going head to head with WWF. We're going head to head with Raw, and we're swinging for the fences.
And they did swing for the fences for sure. Terry, what's a big Monday Nitro memory for you?
I think I have to say for me when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came over, nobody knew that they were going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the start of eventually what became the NWO. But they, came in as an outsider, talk about, so this is where the big boys play. We want to play with all the big boys here.
I like that too. That was really cool. Because they're like, what the hell is Scott Hall doing here? What the fuck is he talking about? Like, what you talking? Well, dude, you ain't supposed to be here. You can't come here.
It was really good too because he's like, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. Man, that's iconic. Like that's one of the most iconic lines in wrestling history right there. It was really cool. For me, one of my favorite Nitro memories was when Hulk Hogan beat Macho Man and got his title back because he had dropped the title to Sting. And then Macho Man had beat Sting for the title. And then on a random, because back then wrestling was great, man, because like a random Monday night or Thursday night, man, you could get the match of the century. So like, they come out and Eric Bischoff's like, Macho, you're going to be defending with Hulk Hogan tonight. And then it was a clean match because they were both NWO and nobody interfered and Hogan beats him and gets the title back. That was really cool for me. Launching Andrew's favorite wrestler into the van. I mean, like that's James is the one that begged for the toy.
He did. He was the only one too.
The only one. Oh, but wait, we're not bringing up overrated wrestlers on our show tonight. So that was definitely one of my favorite moments of Nitro. Another really good Nitro moment is when they had fucked with Sting and brought the fake Sting out with the face paint and acted like he had joined the NWO. And then Sting disappeared for months and months, because he came out and he said, that wasn't me. Like, and if y'all believe that, fuck y'all, essentially. Then he left. He was gone like 6 months. And then one day, the NWO, all like 12 members is in there just beating the hell out of Lex Luger and Macho Man, just beating them down. And then out of nowhere, Pro Sting makes his first debut where he falls from the ceiling and then falls into the ring and starts beating them with a bat. That shit was cool.
I remember the Sting Army angle. They just kept coming in from the stands and everything. They just kept beating the crap out of all of them. Then eventually the part where Buff Bagwell actually punched Sting but didn't flinch him. So he took off the Sting mask while he's posing. Then gave him the Scorpion Death Drop.
So that was pretty cool when Sting did that. He had the Sting mask and then pulled the Sting mask on, and then his face paint was there. Man, Nitro was cool. But Brandon, give me a favorite memory of Raw.
I don't know if I could have a specific like favorite. There's so freaking many.
Just name one that comes to mind.
Austin with the freaking truck on Raw for one, beating the hell out of the Nation of Domination, hitting them with like a stunner on the truck and stuff. Like, dude drives the big monster truck through the freaking arena, just comes and starts beating the hell out of everybody. Like, come on, bro, that's so freaking classic.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do a couple memories. Terry, what's a memory for you?
For one of my top moments is when we saw the debut of Chris Jericho, because even though he was, in my opinion, he wasn't used properly at WCW, it seemed like they knew how to use him in WWF, and just the pop that he had, and then he goes right after the top guy in the company at the time, and just all the memories and great angles they had with each other. That was by far part of my top Raw moment.
Yeah, that I'm still trying to share this in the background just so y'all know. We're getting good views right now, and I really appreciate everyone. So I'm just all right. So I reposted again. All right. So gosh, for me, I think like I have so many HBK ones that I could get to. But one of my favorite ones actually involves Stone Cold, man. So like Stone Cold had got screwed out of his title the night before. I don't remember which particular pay-per-view. So he comes out at the beginning of the show, and he's like, well, y'all all got a real problem on your hands because there ain't gonna be no show till somebody comes out here and gives me my title shot. And then like everybody comes out and they're like, hey man, I think it was Gerald Briscoe, Pat Patterson. He's like, I'm not coming out until you give me a title shot. And then Mr. Man comes out. They have a back and forth. So then, Stone Cold's like, fine. So Stone Cold leaves with him. The first match starts. It's like 30 seconds into the match. He comes running back out and just beats the hell out of both of them. And then gets a chair from the side, sets it in the ring, and says, I told you I'm not going anywhere. I was dying. He's just such a bully, bro. What's a favorite memory for you?
On Raw?
Brandon, give me another one. Raw, yeah.
I liked when Kane got unmasked. I thought that was crazy, bro. Freaking lost the match, and they're like, oh, whatever, you got unmasked. And RVD's like, okay, whatever. And dude freaking pulls his mask off. And Jerry's like, what the fuck is that? And he just freaking picks freaking Rob Van Dam up, freaking choke slams him, freaking fire. And then obviously led into like his most badass persona after that with the freaking towel on his head and the chains and shit. I thought that was freaking badass.
Yeah, that was a good one too. And so on that one right there in particular, James, it was so funny because he comes out there and Vince is like, why are you out here? He goes, why am I out here? Because I got a problem with this guy. He's got his little beady eyes.
On the planet.
Yeah, he's like, he calls himself the baddest man on the planet. Well, I take problems with that. Yeah, the DX reunion was really good too.
Bro. Okay, I just want to say something. He brought up the DX thing. Ain't nothing was funnier than having Shane and all them at the top of the ramp and them supposedly dumping shit all over them.
Oh,
that was funny. Oh my gosh. I remember being like a teen. I'm like, what the fuck? I do this freaking dumb shit all over. I'm like, what? He's like, there's corn in it.
That was good. What about you, Joe?
So when Stone Cold came out with the beer truck just to soak up, I always forget the name of the faction they had.
Yeah, that was the
corporation.
That was the that was the corporation.
Okay, so I was right then. Yeah, when he came out, the corporation just while Rock was talking his shit, and then just soaks everyone with beer and stuff. They're all struggling to climb out of the ring and everything.
You say that, but like you start thinking of like your favorite moment. My favorite one's Milkamania, bro. Like nobody expected dude to come out with a freaking milk truck, and then he proceeds to hose them down with milk, and then do the Stone Cold with the milk cartons. That's like my favorite.
That was a good one too that Jonathan just put there when the lightning hit the casket and he came out.
Oh, freaking Undertaker's got Stephanie in the thing, and the thing's like, I'm going for a ride, Stephanie.
Yeah, DX impersonating the McMahons was funny. I really like when they first formed DX and they're out there and they're just being stupid and they're like, they call us degenerates. They call us Generation X. He goes, so we're the Generation X.
He's like, what happened, Rick?
Yes, and another part of that, like when Rick Rude left.
That was a great Nitro moment too.
Yes, he showed up on Nitro the same night.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time he's on Raw and Nitro at the same time because they pre-recorded Raw back then and then Nitro was live. Well, the next week on Raw, they brought Harvey Whippleman out. And he did Rick Rude's like speech that Rick Rude did for DX. Oh, you fat lady! And he come out there and Shawn Michaels grabbed him and threw him out of the ring. He goes, "Well, that was hard to replace." I was yelling.
I liked after that when they were talking about adding people to DX, and obviously Bret Hart left, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart's around. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna add you," and he jumps that, he gets in with them and they're jumping people. And he's like, okay, well, if you're in a tag team with us tonight, then you can join DX or whatever. And freaking they doing this thing, just comes up behind him. Like, bloop, nope, done. Just freaking jumped him. I'm like, bro.
And you never saw Anvil again on Raw.
No. And I'm like, dude, that would be freaking cool as hell.
Well, what would have been your favorite, if you could think of one, SmackDown moment?
Ooh.
See, I didn't watch a lot of SmackDown, so I can't.
That was kind of after his time though, because when SmackDown got hot, that started SmackDown with 99, I think it was.
That was 98 or something like
98, 99. Man, that's freaking hard, bro. Like SmackDown's got a lot of my more fondest memories of SmackDown though were like the early 2000s than anything. So like a lot of the stuff, the rap battles with John Cena and the freaking Eddie Guerrero promos and like that kind of stuff is the stuff that really sticks with me. I mean, my favorite SmackDown moment would probably be the freaking promo with him and Brock, honestly. That was just the best promo ever, like hands down. The emotion they could sell in that moment and got you so hyped for that freaking main event, like that's, yeah.
I think my favorite moment for SmackDown was when DX was kind of taking over the show. Back when they were more of a heel, not like so much as the degenerates like they initially started out with. So when they took out, I think earlier night, they took out Kane and then he took out The Rock. And then they were going after Stone Cold. And then little by little, Stone Cold was picking them off one by one. Mm-hmm. And when he called X-Pac on the phone, he's like, like Casey Kasem says, reach for the stars. He looks up and the ceiling falls in on him. And when he caught Billy Gunn with the bear trap, or was it Road Dogg, one of those two. And and then when they're all in the ring waiting, he dropped the big cargo net they use for aircraft, go and start beating the hell out of them. And then here come Rock and Kane to come help out too.
That was good times.
Yes. I will tell you, I'm going to do mine, but then I want to know y'all's on this as well. So my favorite Stone Cold and Rock promos together, man. Look, so it's back in the day of beepers, right? Like Brandon don't remember.
Oh no, I do, and I know exactly what promo you're about to talk about too.
So the Rock's in the ring, and he's taking over the nation. Farouk's gone, and Stone Cold's music hits, and now the Rock has the Intercontinental title. So they run up the ramp to get him. And then Rock's beeper goes off, and he looks at it and says 316, and the Rock, being the ham that he is, goes. And then Stone Cold jumps out from the crowd and stuns him and steals the belt. Well, later on, Raw, the Rock comes back out, and he's out there. You stole my belt, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Stone Cold comes on the Titantron, and he's on
in the production truck. Oh no, that part, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the bridge at this point, and they go, "What's that?" And he goes, "You think I give a damn about your little title?" And he throws the Intercontinental title in the river. I was dying, man. Those were great. What's one Rock and Stone Cold moment for you, Brandon?
I don't know if you can ever pick a specific. I like the one where he was on the freaking Titan. He was in the freaking production truck, and he's freaking Rock checks his beeper, and he comes and he's like the Rocks. He puts like Rocky sucks or whatever on the Titantron, and he's sitting there looking around, and Austin's right behind him and hits him with a stunner.
It's Tunaki. There, Mr. Ramsey.
What's up, Dominic? Oh yeah, when DX Express getting destroyed, yeah, that was funny. What about you, Terry? What's a Stone Cold Rock moment for you that you remember?
When Rock was still part of the corporation, I believe he was still at the time, he was looking at his car. All of a sudden, the cameraman goes to the parking lot. And here's Stone Cold is in his Monster Jam truck. And he just smashes the Rock Lincoln like it's I mean, I'm sure it was something special back then when we ran over his car and crushed it. But then having one of those cars myself, I'm like, dang, this was luxury back then. So when he smashed the Rock's Lincoln, or when he poured oh no, that was him and Vince. Never mind.
But that makes me think of you talking about and it's not a great Nitro moment. This is kind of like at the end. Do you remember? I don't know if it was Goldberg and Sid Vicious, but they freaking had a thing going and freaking gets a monster truck and drives over Sid Vicious's car, and he's like freaking out. He's like, "You motherfucker!" The freaking car's just like flat as a freaking board. Like,
yes. Oh man, but what about Sid Vicious off the top rope?
No, that's ugly. That's ugly. That's like the Joe Theismann leg. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Ooh, that was rough. You know what we're talking about, Terry?
Oh yeah.
That's an ugly injury.
The big atomic boot.
Ugh. And didn't he just walk off too?
I don't know.
No, I think I thought they dragged him out kind of because, like, he was looking at his leg. He was like kind of screaming, and then Scott Steiner. Or it was against Scott Steiner, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what happened, and he's kind of looking. He just kind of just stopped what he was doing because you're like, oh my god, no, that ain't it.
Yep. But we talking about funny. My funniest Raw moment though is like when Booker T finally. I've talked about this one numerous times, but he's just now coming over, and it's like Booker T, it's like Stephanie and Rhino, and The Rock and Jericho come out, and The Rock and Jericho are just laying into them, and The Rock's like, you know what 2 + 2 is? Yeah, Thomas Jefferson, sucker.
Yeah.
He's like, there goes your mama riding on that short little yellow bus.
Shit. Man, look, Jericho. Speaking of Jericho, we're talking about favorite Raw moment. This is like kind of newer, so this is a surprise y'all for me. But when he come out there and the very first time he rolled out that paper and pulled the pin out and goes, "You just made the list, man!" Like that shit. Those promos were fucking hilarious, man. Like Jericho tripped me out with that shit. Jericho's one of the goats. Like if you don't acknowledge that, you're just a hater, or you don't know the business.
I loved him in the highlight reel, especially what was it in 05? In 05 when they had the draft and John Cena got drafted to Raw. That whole segment with him, Jericho, and Christian was hilarious.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I remember the two things about Jericho. Well, like one of the list when they were about to do that Survivor Series match, when I think he was on Team Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So as he's talking, after he was talking to AJ Styles' soccer mom haircut, he looks over. He's like looking between. He's like, "Wait a minute, what the hell is that?" He's looking at what's his name? The one that was with Dean Ambrose.
Seth Rollins?
No. The goofy-looking blonde-haired guy with like no chin.
Oh, you talking about the one that was with what's her name, Carmella, James
Ellsworth. James Ellsworth. Yeah. He's like, "Hey, you're a pretty goofy-looking fella. You know that? You know what happens to goofy-looking fellas on this show?" And then like he proceeded, he's like calling him. He's like, "You know what happens, Vince McMahon?"
Ain't nothing funny than that shit Andrew always talks about with the freaking the WWF versus WCW team, and they're sitting there trying to give a freaking pep talk, and every time Vince says something, Austin freaking repeating exactly what he says, and then Kurt Angle's like trying to get into it. He's like, "Dude, shut the fuck up, dude." He just keeps freaking hitting on him and shit. He keeps hitting the Undertaker. He's like, "Hey, bro, you got one more time, bro. Don't hit me, bro." Like,
Dude, that shit, he's repeating Vince McMahon. But yeah, so James just put, and I confirmed, rest in peace to Ryan Sandberg, second baseman for the Cubs in my childhood.
Okay, so July is just dead to me at this point.
Me too.
Like, get the fuck out of town, bro. No, you can't have anybody else, bro. We got like 2 days left of the month. Like, you can't take nobody else, bro. Wait till August. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, man. I like Ryan Sandberg.
I think we're good for the next quarter here because the names that were taken.
We're good for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But yeah,
he was trying not to.
That shit was funny. He'd be like, "We're a team," and he turned to Undertaker and goes, "We're a team." He's like, but then he smacks Kurt Angle. I was dying.
Dude, it's so funny, bro. Like, them two were like comedy gold together. Austin and Angle were like perfect together.
We talk about how funny Jericho and Rock were, and they were like fucking hilarious. But Stone Cold was one of the funniest wrestlers ever. Like mean funny. What I mean. Like he comes out there, wherever he goes. The guy's like, "What are you doing in the middle of my match?" He says, "Shut up, you French bitch," and then just starts hitting him.
It's like you subscribe to the notion that we should bring bullying back. That's what you get when you watch Steve Austin. Like,
yes, you did. Yeah, July can go away. Oh yeah, his hero pose. Yes, holy shit, that shit was funny though.
Oh, you remember? We're talking about Austin. You remember when him and Triple H were in the Royal Rumble and they were going back at it, and the Hurricane comes out?
Yes.
He comes out, he freaking gets one with the thing, gets the other one, and they're sitting there like, oh, this one. And they did the same thing with Undertaker, Kane, and Scotty 2 Hotty comes out, and Scotty 2 Hotty's looking around like, oh shit. Like, I gotta go in there, but like, no, like, I don't want to go in there. And they just freaking huck him up and throw him over the top rope.
But they did the same thing with Kane and Jamie Noble and Batista. He just comes in, is like Ric Flair chopping both of them, but he's like swinging above his head because that's where their chests are at.
Dude, look, remember when Kane choked on Pete Rose tombstone? Man, that was classic. And then Drew Carey was out there in the Royal Rumble, he's doing this, and then all of a sudden, it goes all dark and red and fire comes. And Drew Carey's like, "I'll just eliminate myself real quick."
And he's in the freaking locker room. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a wrestler now." I'm like, what? What you mean you're a wrestler now? Get out of here, bro. It's like this is not a safe space.
It is not. Look, do you remember when The Rock was out there and he had taken over the nation already, as well as between him and Stone Cold's little spat, and when they were still doing it, and he's out there talking, The Rock's out there talking, and Stone Cold comes out there at the top of the ramp, and he's like, "Well, I just want to know, is it an ass whooping tonight or is it not?" And drops the mic. Just like, like for no reason, just comes out, starts picking, and doesn't even really pick on him. He's just like, "Is it an ass whooping tonight or not?" Drops the mic and stands there.
I like Steve Austin when he was the general manager of Raw too. That shit was funny.
It was.
Comes riding in the freaking 4-wheeler, just fucking shit up. He's like, "No, Eric Bischoff, I'm in charge of this motherfucker." Like,
oh yes, yeah. I just so many funny moments, man. Like I will tell you, probably, and it's not probably. I mean, and this is full on my opinion, but the greatest debut in wrestling history, not just WWE, not just WCW, the greatest debut in wrestling history was Chris Jericho. I don't care what you say. I was there. It was like 8 months they led up to this. Just one random episode of Raw when they were, and you didn't hear about it for a couple of weeks, and then they did it again. This went on for 6 to 8 months. And then while The Rock was out there, The Rock of all people, it came on and the counter went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Break the walls down, and the words Jericho came up there, and that blew the fuck up, y'all. So Jericho was already Raw. Like, I've never seen a build up and entrance like that ever. It was perfect. When you talk about the idea of perfect, that was perfection. Yes, Countdown to Millennium with Jericho. Been great. I'm sorry, like I just like Hulk Hogan. The way the crowd was insane. So we typically have our favorite big moments and our favorite whatever. But Brandon, if you were to have to pick one person that nobody puts in the top 10, like ever, but definitely, well, let's just say top 5 that nobody ever puts in the top 5. Let's make it harder. Nobody ever puts it there, but like he definitely belongs there, or you can make a strong case for him being there.
If we're looking, if you're looking outside of just like title reigns, let's just say that's not the deciding factor. If you're just looking at like versatility and being able to do everything, like as a whole, like you're not saying, oh, this person's got the most titles, which that's the kind of perspective that I look at, because I don't want to just subscribe. It's the same thing with football. You don't want to just be like, oh, well, this guy's got the most rings, so I just put him in there. No, not necessarily, because someone can have a bunch of winning, but kind of just get pushed into all that. You know what I mean? Somebody that can do everything. Eddie Guerrero, bro, can do everything. Like, I mean, I don't ever see him that high because, I mean, he only had one world title reign. But being able to work with anybody, held all mid-card titles, pretty much one of the revolutionized the cruiserweight division in WCW, comes over, kills it as a mid-carder, kills it as a tag team player, kills it as a main eventer, as a world champion, was going to be a world champion again had he not suddenly passed away. Yeah, if I'm looking as a body as a whole and everything you can do, Eddie Guerrero, definitely. And I mean, I wouldn't say he's Mount Rushmore. I'm not saying that, but just as like, just to throw a name in there, I'd say Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, to touch on before we get to touch on what we were talking about as far as rings go, like Robert Horry got 7 rings, and ain't nobody put him in a top anything. So
that's what I'm saying.
Rings as a deciding factor. But Terry, like, who would you put in there?
Well, I think this guy's probably not on a lot of people's top 5 because he spends most of his time as a heel character. But
Jimmy Snuka?
Yeah,
he's still a heel.
I already put NA for him. But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think for everyone, I mean, every great heel or every great face needs a great heel. So I think you probably won't see him a lot of people's Mount Rushmore, but you could make an argument for him as Triple H.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I don't think anybody puts him that high, which is kind of crazy.
I agree.
His progression was insane. Like, to be pretty much a nobody to being like HBK's sidekick to like kind of like getting a little push here and there, and then when HBK goes away, he's just pushed immediately in and like never skips a beat.
No,
and outside of the yeah, but dude, his freaking run like as a major heel, like when he first got his big push as world champion, was crazy.
Yeah,
he was hot. Like, my time, Triple H was hot, bro. Like, that dude was, like, built different. And he was good no matter what era. Like, that era has the quad injury, comes back in 2002. He's a freaking monster heel for, like, 3 years. Just holding on to big gold, comes back. He was still great as a face. Like, I think that's definitely a viable option.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We don't hear enough about Triple H being top 5, but he's 14-time world champion. I mean, like, one of the greatest ones ever, probably the greatest faction ever. He definitely belongs there. For me, the obvious answer is Chris Jericho for me, because like nobody ever really put him in the top 5. But like, what couldn't Jericho do on the mic, the entrance, in the ring? Like, what is it that he couldn't do? Like, and he I mean, he had like 8 or 9 world titles, many different promotions. That's the obvious answer. But for me, I'm going to go a little further. One that nobody ever talks about, but because he wasn't in WCW or WWF, like, people kind of look down on what he did, and that's AJ Styles. Like this man was like 20 years old playing with big boys, because TNA had some big ass names back then. Mm-hmm. He was keeping the title with all the big boys there. It was on him. AJ Styles is definitely a top 5 talent, and if you don't agree with that, man, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
You know how long Bro's been around though? He was in WCW at the end. goes over to TNA, has early matches with Dusty Rhodes, classics with Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe. Kurt Angle comes over. He has bangers with Kurt Angle, Christian Cage, Booker T.
Yep.
You could not even count his WWE run at all. Like me personally, I don't like his WWE run. I don't like long hair AJ Styles. I like everything before that. You could just look at that and be like, this dude's a freaking baller, bro. He can do it all. Mic skills are okay, but in ring, dude's like unmatched. He can do anything.
I'll give you a tip of the cap to what you were talking about, his WWE run. First of all, I think he's phenomenal on the mic. A lot of people see what he does in WWF because he doesn't really get a lot of time. But when he was on the mic in TNA, bro was good.
Yeah.
And so a tip of the cap to AJ Styles to tell you how big and important he really was in the industry. We're not talking about WWF. We're talking about even to WWF, the entire wrestling industry. When they called over and over and he finally decided to sign, his entrance at Royal Rumble when no one was expecting it, like they did a good job hiding it, and his music hit and it blew up. And all of a sudden they gave him some titles because he was such a big name. He didn't have to come in, do 6, 8, 10, 12 months. Like he immediately was in the world title picture. That's how big AJ Styles was. I think he came in and came out.
It sucked that it took so long though, but he was trying to be loyal to TNA. But TNA lowballed him because he was giving them everything. Like he carried them. And then like when contract talks like 2013, 2014, around that time, it was like he was like finishing stuff with aces and eights and all that. And then they gave him a contract offer. They lowballed him. He's like, fuck that. Like I'll just go do New Japan and all that, and I'll go to WWE after. So, I mean, I'm glad he finally got his time to shine. But had they gotten there like another 5 years prior, oh my gosh, they could have got even more.
The problem with TNA at that point is it was done.
Well, Hogan and Bischoff, they sunk that ship.
Well, it wasn't even just them.
But they buried all that homegrown talent though, like substantially. Like Dixie Carter and those two. Like, and I'm not shitting on Hogan and them, but that was a dumb idea, bro. You seen what happened in WCW? I wouldn't have brought Bischoff over. I wouldn't have brought all them other WC guys. Like. You didn't have to do that because you had a significant difference. You had a 6-sided fucking ring. You had all these guys that were no names and they're freaking killers, bro. They're all great. I'm okay with you bringing a bunch of WWE guys and stuff, and that was cool. But like when you had like Bischoff and Hogan like kind of like running the show, and then you start trying to do everything like they used to do, that's where I feel like you lost the audience. And then people were just like, this is dumb. Like, it's going to get killed off like old WCW. And that's pretty much what happened. They killed the brand, and they just now starting to recover.
Well, what happened to the brand wasn't even necessarily Bischoff and Hogan. Like, Hogan's promos were good. The problem was Jeff Jarrett did not like Hulk Hogan. And when Dixie Carter made the decision to bring them over, it really became a problem because Jeff Jarrett was the heart and soul of that organization.
It was his company.
It was his company, and then
Carter
kind of shit on him on that, and then you saw Jeff Jarrett kind of scale back on what he was doing over there, and then it started getting to the point, and then they're like, hey, we're not doing so well. Kurt Angle, he hadn't been here in a while, so and then they saw the money, and then they offered AJ Styles what they could, I feel. And he was like, no, absolutely not, And then when AJ Styles left, that's when the company died. Like really.
Yeah, once they lost the name, they went through that phase of like Impact and Global Force Wrestling and all this. I'm like, dude, like you got good talent, but you lost your freaking TV deal with Spike. Like that was the one that broke the camel's back because that was a great spot to be in. A lot of people were watching that channel. It was a great time slot. It was on Thursday. There were no competing shows on Thursday because SmackDown moved to Friday. They had a great product, and I do agree with you, but I feel like them bringing a lot of them older guys and them getting too much TV time, like Nash and all them and Scott Hall, like they didn't need to be on the TV that much. Like you started taking a lot of the shine away from like a lot of the younger guys, man. I didn't have a problem with like the older guys being on the card, but I just feel like they were pushing the older guys way too much. And like I felt like Joe and AJ and them weren't really getting their respect and that's why everybody ended up dipping. Just got tired of it.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems, y'all watched it more than me, but one of the biggest things I noticed, first of all, I think TNA is on their way back to something big.
Oh, yeah.
wrong. But one of the biggest problems is you talk about, like, you know, you brought in all this great talent, Sting, Kurt Angle, the Dudley Boys, and you really had an ECW type of feel there. You really did. And then you brought Hogan, you brought Bischoff.
It was too much.
It was too much. Like, there's too much talent. And that was WCW's problem. They had all this talent and no talent.
They were mismanaging. Like, I don't have a problem with all those guys being involved, but you're overbearing it. Like, if you want to have the older guys in there, cool, but don't freaking put them at the focal point, because you're already good. Like,
right.
In the main event Mafia, that was great. Like, all of that was great. But I feel like initially when you brought Hogan and all that, I'm like, that's cool. Like, I fuck with that. Like, I like that. That's different. Like, you're trying to shake things up. And Dixie Carter is like one of the worst things that happened to them. Like, she literally drove them into the ground. When Jeff Jarrett was like running around the NWA title, screwing everybody, hitting people with guitars, and even a little bit after that, that was like the best. They brought in Christian. When they got Kurt Angle, that was a huge deal because nobody's seen it freaking coming. This is like 06, 07. Like, nobody's seen that coming. And they already had Scott Steiner, they had Nash, they had great tag teams, the Machine Guns, LAX, like America's Most Wanted, Beer Money. Like, they had a star-studded roster. They just mismanaged it.
Yeah, for sure. So give me your favorite Hogan moment of all time, Roman.
Favorite's hard. I'll say, like, one of my most fondest memories, and it's not a big moment to say the least. It's kind of a two-piecer. One, him coming back to WWE and getting to relive the yellow and red, I thought that was really cool. I thought it didn't feel forced either. People wanted it. When he won the tag team titles with Edge, that was crazy. That was really cool. Yeah. And then for him to be the last official WWF champion before they switched over, that was really good. Like, I feel like that whole second push had so much gold in there until they made him be like Mr. America or some weird shit like that. But like,
my God.
But he had great matches. Like, he was good. He was working with Brock. He was working with Rock. He was working with everybody. Like, I really enjoyed his last run.
That was a horrible gimmick too.
Mr. America was terrible.
The 24-inch Patriots.
Instead of pythons, yo.
Yeah. For me, it was probably passing the torch moment. I think it was at WrestleMania 18 in Toronto.
Yes. When
he fought The Rock, and it's like you never saw a crowd so divided. It's like you hardly heard any boos because everyone was cheering, like screaming top of the lungs for their guy that they wanted to win. But, you know, I mean, Hogan was getting a little bit more of the pop. I mean, there was slight boos going towards The Rock because I guess the Canadians still wanted The Rock to lose to Hogan, but
I don't think anybody's seen that coming either. For Hogan to get that much of an ovation, everybody's like, "Oh shit! Like, what is this? Like, where's all this coming from?" Like,
and that's probably what made the transition back to the red and yellow because, you know, Hogan was so overwhelmed during the match when they're standing there like 3 minutes looking at each other while the crowd's chanting. I mean, to witness that in person, that would have been something.
Oh my gosh! I'm in a couple of wrestling groups. And there's quite a few people in the comments were talking about how crazy like that crowd was. They were like, dude, the roof then popped off. Like, it was insane.
Yeah. For me, gosh, I have, you know, in WCW, I think my favorite Hogan moment was the turn. That was so iconic. But my favorite Hogan moment ever is I went to my granddaddy's house over the summer. My granddaddy's very special to me, by the way. He's passed on a long time ago. And my dad wouldn't let me watch wrestling, and I could catch it because I had my own TV, but I wasn't allowed to watch it, so they weren't going to rip me anything or anything like that. So I'd go to my granddaddy's for the summer. You know, he'd rip me a Nintendo game or he'd rip me a wrestling video when I asked him to. And gosh, I was like 4 or 5, like I was that little. I wasn't even 6 yet, and I rented WrestleMania 3. I popped it in, man, and here we are, Andre and Hogan And I had no idea what happened, like, because you didn't have information like that back then. You didn't know what happened with, like, there was no internet, and they didn't talk about it on TV at that, like they do on ESPN and stuff now, because wrestling wasn't considered, to be serious or nothing. So you don't know. I still had no idea what happened, right? So I pop it in, watch the whole WrestleMania, which, by the way, was so good. And then here's Hogan and Andre. And here I am, 4 or 5 years old. And there's this massive man, Andre the Giant. And Hulk Hogan, who I already loved because I'd watched the Saturday morning and all that. Then I watched Andre just like beating him. And then he hulks up. And then he picks up Andre the Giant. And I'm like, oh my God. And then he slams him, drops the leg, and beats him for the title. Unreal.
That changed the whole landscape. Like people say, oh, WrestleMania 1 and this and that, but that ushered in the golden era. That ushered in, that made wrestling mainstream at that point. That blew him up past what anybody would have thought.
That's funny. Jonathan picked the same 2 I did exactly. I mean, it was just, he picked him up. like as a kid, I'm a little older than Terry, but I remember watching that, and you felt it was real. I don't know how to explain this to you, but you felt it was really real, and you felt it was important, and this was good versus evil, and everything was real when you're a kid. And he body slammed him and won. Man, I'm crying as a little kid. I'm like, Hogan. And that's what I'm feeling now that he's gone. It's that feeling of a kid again, and the icon and the hero, and he dies, and it's sad, and it tells you, if the immortal Hulk Hogan's going, so are you, and it's a reality shock. Nobody escapes death. It is reality, and Hogan passing really hit me hard. When I tell y'all I've been listening to Real American, I'm on the way home from work yesterday, I literally put it on and didn't say a word or anything other than just listen to it on repeat. But it was perfect. But before we go, give me. I know Chris Benoit is your guy, Terry, your guys, Terry. So before we go, Brandon, give me your favorite Chris Benoit moment.
And there's so many, and he don't really. I don't know. It's hard to talk about stuff like that because I'm not worried about scrutiny, obviously, but there's just a lot of controversy around those things. I mean, there's so many cool moments. I remember, and this ain't my favorite, but I remember, what was it? Heyman was the GM of SmackDown, and him and I think he had screwed Benoit the week before or something. And they had beef or whatever. So him and John Cena sitting out there talking to Heyman. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got your problem." Calls dude out there. Benoit puts Heyman in the sharpshooter, and he's trying to get him to do something. Every time he wouldn't do it, he tightened the sharpshooter up, and he'd shove a freaking bar of soap in Heyman's mouth. And I thought that was the funny, because he just keeps wrenching the sharpshooter on him. He's anguishing in pain. But I mean, the best thing for me, man, it's him winning the title at 20. That's the greatest Mania finish of all time. Regardless of how, that's great. Regardless of what you think about the situation, what you think about him or whatever, that was and to this day, I think it's the greatest WrestleMania ending ever, because you see the culmination of 2 people who are pretty much brothers, that close of friends. You see the month before Eddie wins the freaking WWE title at No Way Out, highly emotional moment. And then you get quite possibly almost the greatest main event in WrestleMania history with Triple H, HBK, and Benoit, which it was crazy already because he got inserted in there for winning the Rumble. But HBK and Triple H had over a decade of history together anyway. So to see a match that good and with 2 guys that are genuinely that close in real life, and it makes me appreciate it a lot more because we lost both of them unexpectedly. Nobody expected Eddie to pop up dead when he did. And nobody expected to roll on the Monday Night Raw and see a tribute show for Chris Benoit either. So that makes me appreciate it a lot more, seeing those 2 guys reach the top when smaller guys like that wouldn't get shine. it was always the big guys winning the world titles, the big muscular guys in the spotlight getting all the shine. So to see those guys like start from the bottom in Japan, WCW, and be able to reach the pinnacle and be able to enjoy that moment with each other, that's the greatest moment ever, in my opinion.
So even though you got to give Bret Hart credit for that one. He broke the big guy mold of winning world titles. So shout out to Bret Hart. Forgive Goldberg while you can, because life is short. Terry, what about you and Kane?
Except for Chris Benoit, you said right?
For Kane, for you. Kane's your favorite, right?
Oh, that's right.
He said, "Oh, that's right. That's my favorite."
Yeah. That's what the questions were the other day. I'm sorry, I'm a little out of it right now. I'm freaking.
That's all right.
Get all these pains right now in my neck and head. I think my favorite Kane moment is when he was. Well, I'd have to go with his debut. Just how everything tied together with the Undertaker, and then just him walking out. You see the whole background was red, and the just flames just popped up, and then you hear JR as passionate as he always was on commentary. He's like, "That's gotta be Kane," and just the way he just ripped the door to see someone. It looked like at the time just towering over the Undertaker, like not by much, but like looked a lot bigger than him, like muscular wise, height wise, everything. Because no one was really doing that at the time. Because I don't even think Big Show was there yet. Because I know they eventually brought him in to help Taker against Kane, but
no, he wasn't there yet. He was still at WCW and NWO at that point.
Yeah, and he was like another one. Didn't get enough. I think title runs. I thought he should have. So I'd go with that one. But then I also like when he cashed in on Andrew's favorite wrestler, Rey Mysterio, where Rey was all battered. He's like, "I don't get paid by the hour. Let me go and just destroy this dude real quick."
That was good. For me, anybody who's watched this show, or even villains for that matter, knows that HBK is my favorite wrestler. My favorite HBK moment, like I'm watching. I watched it live. The Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart in an Iron Man match. And so it was the first televised Iron Man match ever, by the way. So it goes the full length, the full 60 minutes, and nobody gets a fall. So the ref announces the match a draw, and Bret Hart gets to keep his title. And I was going, "Oh, fuck, of course he did." Bullet Monsoon comes out and he goes, "No." He goes, "I order this match to continue until there's a winner." And Bret Hart's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's throwing spit everywhere. "What are you talking about?" And they order him back in the ring, and then they go, and then Shawn Michaels, man, hits Sweet Chin music, pins him 1, 2, 3 for his first world title ever. He goes down on his knees. He's got the title, and he's crying. That actually might be my favorite wrestling moment of all time, to be honest with you. Not just my favorite HBK moment, which would make sense since I'm an HBK fan, but he got that title. I remember because that's my dude, HBK. I love Hogan too, don't get me wrong, but HBK is my dude. He won his first title ever. Bret Hart's mad, spit everywhere, and so they fought. They gave the crowd an hour. And then when that hour was over, they gave them more. HBK is an icon. Bret Hart is an icon. This was a 5-star match that lasted over an hour. How do you have two talents that can make a 5-star match that lasts over an hour? How much material and would you have to put into it? But you had Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. So, definitely my favorite, probably my favorite wrestling memory of all time. But
I thought you were gonna say Rey Mysterio winning the Royal Rumble in 06. I thought that was gonna be like your big hype moment, but
man, like when we do next week, we'll
and
do
James thought that was like the be all to end all. I'm just like, what is going on, bro? Like,
we could do most overrated moments next week, like moments that shouldn't have happened or whatever. I like that better. Moments that shouldn't have happened.
I already got one in mind.
Good, I do too. I got like 3 in mind already.
And they're all have to do with Rey Mysterio.
2 of the
No,
3.
surprisingly, this my first one doesn't.
He was talking about me.
No.
It's been an inside joke for like the last year.
It's like they give this guy title reigns. So I think what sticks in my craw the most about Rey Mysterio is, first of all, he's not entertaining in the ring to me.
For a kid, I'd say, but not for like somebody who knows better.
Right. And then on the mic, he's terrible. And then they talk about him like and they call him the greatest Latino wrestler ever, while Eddie Guerrero is offensive to me. It just is. Rey Mysterio is Eddie Guerrero.
What kills me, and I'm not digging at James, but I'm messing with him because he's not here. He and I'm pretty sure I already know how Andrew stands on this, but he's like the custody battle between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero was like the greatest feud ever. I'm like, and we're just sitting there like, you got to understand, and I'm gonna have to make a graphic for it. There's like a crazy talk meter that he's like topped out at. Like, you know how you slam the hammer to hit the bell? Okay, well, he's tapped the bell quite a few times, and that day he definitely did. We're just looking at each other like, what's going on? What was so great about that? Andrew's like, I don't remember any redeemable qualities to that at all. And I'm just like, it was horrible. It was not good. He's like, and the WrestleMania match was so good. And I'm like, it was okay. But like the freaking feud was booty, bro. Like, wait, why?
It made no sense.
Didn't he also say China was like a horrible gimmick for that era?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, she fit in perfectly with that era.
You know, another
played in her.
You know, another topic that'd be cool: matches that should have been really good, but they weren't. Because like a match right offhand that I think of is when is One Night Stand 05 when Benoit and Guerrero had a match, and everybody thought it was gonna be like the best match on the card, and it was like shit. It was horrible, and they're just like, well, what the fuck? Like, you guys know each other so well. Why is the match so trash?
That's a good one. We can definitely do that one. But yeah, there's been a couple of times on this show where James has said
a couple. You mean a handful or two?
Like, what are we talking about here? I'm so confused right now. Like when he said Rey Mysterio was the greatest Latino wrestler, he's not the only person.
Or he said that the heel version of DX was like the worst.
Yeah.
And then he said that the rivalry with Hogan and Slaughter, when Slaughter was like the Iraqi guy, he said that was bad.
That was awesome.
Oh, what was some other shit? We got to
gotta remember he wasn't born during that rivalry.
I wasn't either, but I can still appreciate it.
It was good.
But I just feel like I'm gonna have to sit down and rewatch most of them, and I'm just gonna have to make a compilation, and we're just gonna sit down and watch it because I think it's just that damn funny. Like, I'm not digging at him, but
he'd probably say that one of the greatest, shortest title runs would be Jinder Mahal of all time.
Oh no, he hated. Who does he hate?
He hates Jinder Mahal. I'm the one that
he hates Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like outside the ring, a terrible guy. Like we've heard the stories of him beating Paige and all that, but in the ring, on the mic, entrances like the big three, the dude was good.
Like his own ring announcer.
He said Evolution was the greatest faction too.
Yeah. I'm dying.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch them because I want to put this into video format.
He did. He said Evolution was the greatest, and I'm like, okay.
And you wasn't even on for that one.
And the crazy part is, Evolution isn't even the greatest faction that Ric Flair's ever been in.
No, it'd be the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
You got an old Ric Flair, and then you had two young guys starting out with Triple H. I mean, yeah, they did good. You're lucky if they make a top 10.
I like the Four Horsemen when they had Malenko and Benoit in there. I thought that was freaking, and they had freaking Randy McMichael. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, you talking about Mongo McMichael, Steve Mongo
Yeah,
McMichael?
and they had Malenko and them in the Four Horsemen. I thought that was freaking badass. Hell yeah.
Yeah, those horsemen were cool. I really like Barry Windham in it too.
Now I feel like I have to sit down and dedicate like a whole 6 hours to watching them videos and finding all of this because I have to. The world needs to see it.
So
The world.
sorry. The one of my favorite, well, not so much favorite. It was cool to see was when Taker fought Ric Flair at WrestleMania.
That was
Oh yeah,
good.
well yeah,
And then-
because he got offered like it was Ric Flair and somebody else, and he's like, "Oh, I want Ric Flair."
Yes.
And then when Arn Anderson came in
Oh,
to help out, like
Spine
they were doing every which way, but that spine buster he put on the other Taker had like a little bit of oomph behind it when he
Dude, I'm
when he
like, bro,
applied that.
he could still go, bro. Like, that was a nasty ass spine. I'm like, damn, Arn, you still got some in the tank, bro? Like, it was nasty. And nobody talks about that, dude. He was such a badass, bro. Arn
Yeah.
Anderson don't get no love, bro.
The enforcer.
Dude, he's a badass. Nobody gives that dude credit.
The problem is, in his time, he got that back injury and he couldn't go ever again. And he was still really young, like 35 or something. But yeah, Arn Anderson is definitely one of the OGs. And I think I would put him in my top 20.
I don't think it was RVD. I think it was somebody else. Because it was like another, I don't know, but I remember because he was talking about it. He's like, well, I had option A or option B. He's like, I didn't even hesitate. He's like, man, I want to fight Ric Flair. That's badass. Like, hell yeah. Who doesn't want to have a Mania match with Ric Flair? Like, come on.
Yeah, that's definitely the truth.
But his like work, but the one he was in that handicap match, I'm like, bro, that's such an ugly match. Like, who the hell wants to watch that? It was like him and A Train and Big Show. I'm like, dude, that's freaking trash. Nobody wants to watch that.
No, but when he hit Undertaker with that spine buster, though,
Oh, that was nasty. You felt it.
yeah.
I'm like, you can't go, but you can still do that. Like,
I mean that like, but you know, you're right. If somebody comes out there and, hey, you can have an iconic WrestleMania match with Ric Flair, nobody says no. Not even Hulk Hogan. Like, there's not a soul who would say no in that moment.
And the media tried to paint it like they hated each other. Dude, they were really close.
Yeah,
like, and Ric Flair was distraught. Like, he was like the first person TMZ interviewed after all this happened, and he was distraught.
Yeah,
like I'm like someone needs to check on him. Like, someone needs to check on him and Jimmy Hart, because I'm like, dude, that's tough. Like, that's rough.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Jimmy Hart loved him. But I appreciate it, y'all. It's been a fun show. You want to give your final thoughts, Brandon?
It's good to be back. It's fun. Hopefully we can keep this going.
I agree. Terry?
Oh, as always, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys. It's awful quieter around here. James is not allowed to speak at his parents' house. But yeah, definitely a crazy week last week. Rest in peace to the biggest, legend of sport wrestling we'll ever see.
Yeah.
Never be another one.
Yep. For me, I mean, of course, first thing I'm gonna say is profess your faith in the Lord, Jesus Christ. That's something I'm gonna say on every episode, and it's gonna be anytime I want. But Hulk Hogan, rest in peace, man. It hit me hard. I'm hoping this show will help me have a little closure. But
something I will say though, for all the people who are, if you're genuinely glad for someone's death, you need to reevaluate things. Like, look, I don't agree with what was said, but there's a lot of things that people say behind closed doors that you'll never know that would fall into the exact same category, whether it be intentional or unintentional or intentional. So all I know is he seemed to have genuinely found where he needed to be in the last year or so. and it seemed like I seen a genuine difference. Now, whether he was genuine or not, none of us will ever know. But at the end of the day, like, none of us are perfect. You can't hold yourself any higher on the totem pole than him because you've done a lot of jacked up stuff. I've done a lot of jacked up stuff. The only difference is that mine wasn't pushed into the limelight like his was. So all I would say is, like, don't be disrespectful. Be respectful. If you don't agree, you don't have to agree. Like, everybody's entitled to their opinions, but this is all I'm going to say. If he was genuine in his faith and what he said, then none of that stuff matters, and he's in a much better place, and he found peace, not having to be harassed like he's been harassed for the last decade.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for being on. I will see you again next week. I'm on vacation, so I'm available, so I'll definitely be here. Rest in peace, Hulk.